Going to start throwing bows on them, cracking 12-6. We got some UFC drama, a little martial arts dramatics going on. This man, Conor McGregor, had himself a little spat with the Diamond Dustin Poirier. Some little Twitter beef going on. A whole bunch of stuff's going on. I know you've done some Googles on this, Richie. I just know at face value, the fight is off.
So that's face value, but let's get to that. We got to go back through the history here, okay? So this is obviously July 10th. UFC 264 is supposed to be the rubber match. Third time these fighters see each other. So we got to take it all the way back to the beginning. First fight. Everything goes to plan. Make the fight. Conor's talking his shit. Conor starches him. Boom. There we are. We're good. So the second fight is being put together during arguably one of the worst times the world has ever seen, during the coronavirus, etc. And Dana White has expressed so many times in so many different ways how much money that the UFC loses for not performing in front of a full crowd. Like, they take a serious hit not having that gate. So the second fight is being tried to put together during the pandemic, kind of gets put on the shelf. And here's a reason why. So a regular event at UFC Apex at the gate will bring in $1 to $2 million. When McGregor fights, the gate alone brings in a minimum of $7 million. So we're talking incredible amount of money just for people to watch. And like, you know, McGregor has that draw. So for obvious reasons, UFC pulls out, put it on a shelf. When that happens, Conor is lighting up Twitter, because when he started off the year with that knockout against Cowboy, he said he wanted to be very active this year. He wanted a lot of fights. So he goes to Twitter, starts bitching at Dana for not wanting to fight him. Dana's like, we got to wait for the money. Poirier responds to this tweet asking Conor to do a charity exhibition match where both of them would donate $500K to each other's, charity of choice. Both of them have good foundations, etc. Conor agreed to this, and they start planning out this charity event. And then eventually, Dana White just starts making fights happen again. And then during the pandemic, we see Poirier versus Conor 2 happening under the UFC umbrella. When they were going to do this charity fight, it was going to have nothing to do with the UFC. They were going to get their own sponsors, et cetera, et cetera. All that gets put off the table. But Conor still said, I will donate to your charity, and his people reach out, et cetera. So now, after that fight, Dustin starches him. Obviously, bad blood. And we saw a really weird Conor, man. We saw him real stout, real respectful, just like in a really different headspace than usual. So a couple days ago, April 11th, Dustin wrote this angry tweet at Conor saying that Conor's team has stopped responding about this donation. They're trying to figure out the specifics. Let's get the money. Let's help these people. Conor responded, said he's awaiting a plan of what they intend to do with the money instead of just giving a blind donation. He says he does this with all his charities, et cetera, et cetera. Tweets escalate, get a little bit of beef going on, and then boom, Conor sends out a tweet, says, fight is canceled for July 10th. I will find someone else. So what just happened there? Nothing, bro. It is all just beef, all just speculation. Obviously, Conor is saying he doesn't want to fight, but at this point, there is no word from the UFC. Like, in the UFC's eyes, this fight is still on. And me personally, bro, I think it's all cap. All right, like I was just saying, in that first fight, it was McGregor. They were talking shit. They were going back and forth. And it was just that mental battle that you're used to with Conor. I think they're just getting back into it. And I think this is just their way of, getting that marketing out there. I think this is all just a hoax, bro. I'm not buying it for a second. It all seems like just complete bullshit to me.
I mean, definitely it could be. I know Conor is kind of a master at, being able to put himself the forefront of the media like that. Has been doing that for a long time. I mean, I can 100% stand behind that. I think the fight does still happen, because I think what I saw was that Conor said he's going to fight Diego Sanchez and whatnot. But especially with the UFC and their track record of how things happens, I do take things with a grain of salt until I hear words come out of Dana White's mouth.
Well, it's the same thing. We've been talking about John Jones for months now, trying to make this fight. And it's like he just won't agree to a price point. But just because the fighter says they want to or don't want to do something does not mean anything contractually. Like, this fight is still on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, And, I think it'd be a great fight. I think it needs to happen. I think
Poirier, it has to happen, dude. Come on.
Poirier needs this fight way more than Conor McGregor does. I mean, I know Conor McGregor's been a little down bad with that last fight, obviously losing to Khabib as well. But I kind of said off the camera the other night that, I mean, McGregor could go on and lose his next 5 fights. His legacy's cemented. That shit that he was able to pull off in that 3-4 year window way back when, I mean, champ, and everything, that'll just never be done again. The amount of views and eyes that he was able to bring to that sport, I don't think will ever be.
Still does.
It still does at an incredibly big rate. As much as we say here and we think and know that John Jones is the GOAT, how big Izzy is and guys like that, it's not even close when you're looking at a guy like Conor McGregor and the draw that this man has brought into that sport. And I mean, that door was, cracked open by Ronda Rousey. And then just blown all the way off the hinges when Conor McGregor stepped in that ring talking that shit. And so went on a 3-4 year run there where it was just rock star performances, and then went on, did the thing with Floyd, got the bag, was talking all that mess. And then that whole thing leading up to
Performance decline from there.
Performance decline, probably got comfortable, probably got, this and that, had a bunch of.
When you're not fighting to put food on the table for yourself and your wife, and you're much more comfortable in your situation, I mean, I'm sure he still wants to fight, but that hunger has to just be somewhat gone. Like he was literally fighting to be able to eat, like when he was starting his career on that huge tear. So, motivation is probably still there, but I don't think it's, busting like it was.
I mean, yes, I think in a vacuum, like I said, there's about 3 years there where Conor was probably the greatest fighter ever. That shit he was doing, starch and folk, double champ. Then, it's taking a couple L's and whatnot. 2 of the greatest fights of all time, him and Diaz, those 2 fights, So I think out of the top 10, highest pay-per-view and selling fights of all time, he's got like 6 of them. You know what I mean? So it just shows his impact to the sport. And even let's say they do the rubber match, he goes out there and gets starched again. I'm sure that stings Conor. People will just talk shit on him. And I don't want to sit here and be some Conor D rider or whatnot. I guess I am a little bit, but that legacy is just honestly cemented. No one, I don't think anyone will ever be able to do that again. And if they do, when people come out, you're going to be compared to Conor. If you come out talking all that mess, talking about, Usman said, let's bust out the green panties or something, I'm just like, it's all going to get paired to Conor, which I think Conor knows that 100%. He'll forever be good. We're going to movies and documentary. He'll be deals. And he's got that proper 12 whiskey, man. I mean, that's.
He's got the rosé now, champ. Like he's got, he's good. He's good.
He's good. He said he could probably never fight again and be good on money. But I think that's where the hunger and stuff does inkle in sometimes. He probably does want that hunger, wants to go out and back and prove that, like, hey, yeah, I was able to do this, but I'm also a phenomenal fighter. And I still think he is. I just think, obviously since the first time him and Poirier fought, and then the time Poirier just beat him that last time, Poirier's just become such a better fighter. So, it's obviously not the same. But I hope this fight happens, man. I hope we get word or something from Mr. Dana himself. Hopefully they are just doing it from a marketing standpoint and whatnot, because everyone's paying attention.
I was going to say, if they're not, it's working.
It's working. So,
even if they're not, I mean, I'm really excited. I think this match does happen one way or another. If it's July 10th or not, whatever, that'll be whatever it is. Like you said, that'll be a Dana White decision. But I just want to see this shit talking going on. If this fight is going to happen for a 3rd time, I'm glad it's starting this way. I want that bad blood. I mean, it's just more entertaining. Everyone likes it. So much easier to buy into all that hype. And like I was saying before, Conor won that first fight before he ever stepped into that ring, bro. I'm telling you. Like how do you walk away from that? He has to know that's like one of his most successful things. Like, I mean, I just want to see some shit talked.
Yeah, definitely want to see that Conor come back, because we got 2 fights in a row with the Cowboy thing and then the Poirier, which he's being.
I understand with Cowboy, bro. That's a legend. Shout out for being respectful, but like, get back to the grit, bro. It's what people know you for. That, like,
people know you for that, bro. You're gonna sell some tickets, make Dana White happy, put some money in your own pocket. So hopefully that happens. We will see.
Perfect.